I'm having to take a video of it because I'm kind of like, am I really seeing what I'm seeing here? I'm going to get a closer view up here, but first the sky was all purple. There were people running everywhere. And now the ground is all purple. The snow is all purple. I'm telling you, man, we're living in a simulation. Now look at this shit. Baba Yaga had just come in for me, man. Had her come in, actually, in a dream. What are these chicken prints doing? What are these chicken prints doing on the ground here? And why does it look like somebody's walking a chicken? What's up with that? Like the chicken prints are in alignment with these footprints. Fairy's hella weird, man. I'm telling you. Fairy is hella weird. So, we've all heard this theory that life is a simulation. And I don't think that this is necessarily such a far out there concept. Especially because of certain experiences that I have on a continual basis where maybe in one of my meditation sessions or when I'm dropping in and really setting my energy for the day, which is something that tends to be a daily practice for me, except when I'm honing my chops. You know, there's times, this may seem strange, but there's times when I don't put up any kind of like shielding around me, anything like that, because I kind of want to just tap the energy raw of what's out there in the collective, and that lets me know how I need to adjust things accordingly. Plus it builds spiritual resilience. Some will understand that, some won't. It's the crazy path of an alchemist, okay? So sometimes I do put myself in a situation where I leave myself exposed, so I know what I'm working with, you know? I feel like that can really be a little bit of an advantage in this kind of a climate where things are so polarized and there's such an extreme, such a contradictions and energies swirling about on the atmosphere. But I digress. Getting back to my original point, I've noticed that there's so many times that I have a vision come up in my meditation, or maybe I see something in a dream. It's when I'm dipped into that deeper level of consciousness where I kind of like get out of my head and I get more rooted down into my body, into my instinctual nature, and I'm sensing things and feeling things through. And also all the walls are down, you know, because usually when you enter into a meditative space, there's a part of you that really gives yourself over to that consciousness flow. In fact, you know, the thoughts come and the thoughts are supposed to be like leaves just kind of drifting by on a stream. So you're really releasing yourself from attachment to the BS, your belief systems, your way of seeing things, your vision that you normally have through the reality tunnel that you constructed. And I do believe we construct our reality tunnels, and they're based on our personal experiences. They're based on our cultural programming. They're based on our, you know, socioeconomic programming. And these things run really deep because they've been programmed into us from the time that we came into this world. So when you start to move into conscious expansion, there's all this unraveling that starts to happen. It creates this destabilization. So when you detach from all of that, you've been doing that work, and now you're getting into this place where you're having consciousness expanding experiences. What I've noticed is these things that come in visions, in meditations, in my dreams, I start seeing the exact things showing up in my day-to-day life in the most absurd ways, almost to specifically highlight them like a breadcrumb that's being left behind. Say, remember, you have the ability to alter this at free will at any time that you choose. And I think it comes through in that way, so absurd, like this jesting, just like having the other night, the sky was all purple and that Prince, download came in 1999. And it's like everybody's focused on the destruction, but maybe the deeper meaning to that song is to embrace the creative force that comes out of that destruction, Prince was a pretty hep cat, man. And I do feel like he's also saying with the purple snow, that I saw today, like, time to bring a little of that heaven down to earth, like he's ready to come in. So I think I will be doing a late night talking tarot with him in the imminent future here, because it's just pretty persistent. But then, it's like I had Baba Yaga come into my dream the other night and, was giving me all kinds of information about different plant allies and different stones, different crystals, different ways to work with energy, even different ways to sort of like set up my shielding when I am riding the hedge, when I am Merc riding, when I do got a foot in both worlds. And all of these energies for me, it's all the same energy. So to me, it's just they come through archetypally in a way that communicates the most directly to wherever my consciousness is at that time, or whatever will help me sort of like uproot something from the subconscious that needs to be transformed. And right now it's come in as Baba Yaga for me recently. And it's interesting just to see, like, these chicken feet prints showing up in the snow. And then they just kind of like, they just disappear. Now, sure, it probably wasn't a chicken. It could have been any kind of bird, really, right? And they probably flew away. And that's why the footprints disappeared. But it's funny, it's an interpretation. And it's sort of a way that both, I feel like the psyche, okay, which is maybe, just a funnel that the downloads come in through this one major consciousness that we're all tapped into, okay? You can call it God, you can call it Atman, you can call it whatever you want. I mean, it's very clear, no matter what tradition you look at, that everything's viewed as all being one energy. Even if you look at it from a scientific perspective, when we look at atoms, and we've talked about all that before. But I feel like there's this piece that's being negated from the discussion, and that's that if you are in a position where you can alter the simulation by will at any time, and if you are experiencing a lot of challenges or hardships on your path, could it potentially be a case of you're trying to enter into a stage of character development? If we look at it from like a role-playing angle, could it be that you've set up certain hurdles, challenges, quests, and tests for yourself so you can gain a certain power, a certain skill, so you can master maybe what used to be a liability, okay? So it brings sort of like something interesting to ponder here. It's that thing of like, who is the one who makes the grass green? It's that Zen cone, Is it green? Is it green because that's what we were told? We all agreed to it. So now that's what we all see. What if we all started seeing the green grass as being purple? Would the grass start to turn purple just like the snow turned purple today? I don't know. But I think it's something interesting to explore, because I've also had the experience where I focus on something just visually. I close my eyes. I focus on something that I want to bring in. I allow myself to sink into a daydream. I feel the textures around me. I listen to the sounds. I get in touch with the emotions that I feel being in this reality that I'm visioning in my mind's eye. And then I release it, and I see it like a frequency of energy just rippling out into the multiverse and plucking one of those strings on the cosmic web of creation. And then it'll be like, boom, it comes in. And sometimes if I get distracted, or if I got a lot of worries on my mind, or I'm not focused, or I allow myself to go back into that space of doubting and trying to like control, wonder when is this going to happen, I'll notice that it'll still come through, but it comes through like a little distorted, like, and again, it comes through in a way that's sort of like, nee, 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 sort of like highlighting, like, hey, man, you really need to get it. Like, you have a lot more power than you give yourself credit. It's just an insight I had today. It's something to explore. I encourage you, you know, as you move through the remainder of this week, as you move through the weekend, just kind of like start paying attention to your inner landscape, your mental landscape. What are your thoughts? Like, what are the things you're focusing on? What kind of ideas just seem to come in out of nowhere? Any visualizations that come in, any symbols that come in for you? And then start noticing what happens in your day-to-day experiences. Are you finding that there's resonance? And if you're not, maybe try this. Maybe set aside just 5 minutes, okay? 5 minutes to build an image. You know, it can be something you really want to experience. Build the image, close your eyes, get into what it feels like to be inside this image as if it were reality. You know, what's the taste happening in your mouth in this moment? What is the scent, you know, that's in the air around you? What are you experiencing tactily in that moment, you know? Even with the clothes you're wearing, how do they feel against your skin? What are your eyes seeing? Like, really envision that you are in your imagination, and that your imagination is your reality, and how that's experienced by you. No matter, I don't care. You can even take it to a real out there place. Go ahead, you know, see a dragon. See a dragon in your mind's eye and watch what happens. Watch what happens as in a very playful way, dragon starts to show up on your path. We are about to enter the Chinese New Year of the wood dragon. So, you know, I feel that dragon energy coming in big time. All right. But play with it. That's the point. Have fun. There is this piece about you got to have fun with it. You can't infuse stress into the mix. We know this. Like when we're creating something, you know, you're writing something, or you're in process of, you know, laying down some tracks, or, you know, whatever you're doing creatively. If you get yourself into that agitated headspace, like forget about it. You can't be there. It just provides dams in the river. There's no flow. All right. So play with it, experiment with it. And then, you know, come back after the weekend, and I want you to drop a comment on this video and let me know what you experience. I'd just be really curious to see what you experience. And can we just play a little bit? Can we play a little bit with the Prince archetype? Okay, because he's been coming in so strong. How about we all agree to focus on the color purple through the weekend? And, you know, you can branch off from that however you wish, but just, you know, spend a couple minutes a day just focusing on the color purple. I'm just really curious what will unfold as a result of that. Let's report back to each other. I'll share mine if you share yours. Dude, just as I talk about focusing on the color purple, I shit you not. You gotta see this. What color is that light on the ground? It's illuminating. Frickin' purple. Purple. Look, they put up a purple light. They didn't have a purple light before. I'm serious. What is going on here, man?